and mistakenly think that you are your ego or your emotional body or your mental body, or you start to identify with one or the other. And that's what the Soul House book is about, where, you know, a lot of spiritual people identify with their spirit or their soul, or a lot of people that do like emotional healing identify with their emotional body. Other people identify as psychics with their mental body. Mediums identify with their astral body. So we all like work with different bodies. Channels, we'd be more like the fifth room, which would be like body, or our I am, my I am. So our conscious awareness. So yes, we all have higher selves, and our guides are us. Our guides are just us on a lower density within our light body. So if you look at our light body as this, we have 7 different densities and an 8th density, which is our creator self. And that creator self is what I connect you guys with. So Suzanne, why don't you give me the answer to one of the, the Cleopatra thing I was gonna say is, our creator self is light, and it's shining down through us, and overlays and programs and divine blueprints and Akashic records and you know, experiences and thoughts and emotions that are all stored within all the layers of us, like little motherboards, you know. And so by the time that light or that Cleopatra shines down through all of your programming, you may get an imposter, but it may really be Cleopatra. So you actually have to get into a state where you're going up to wherever Cleopatra's highest aspect of self is, which it feels like about the throat chakra. So Cleopatra is not an ascended master. She's just a person or a soul. And she's not just Cleopatra, she's Cleopatra's soul. And Cleopatra was like half the people here. So I think that's why the guides wanted me to explain that many people can have the same past life. And it's not that you necessarily were her, but they're part of that same soul group. That makes sense. Okay, Suzanne, what? I'm gonna eat bites of soup and you ask me a question.
Okay, so one of the earliest questions was from Anna Carroll, and she wanted to know if the Reiki light is the same as the Holy Spirit.
That's a very good question. Let me ask. Is Reiki light the same as the Holy Spirit? Gosh, my mind is going to get involved in that because that's really interesting to me. Let me finish chewing so I can leave. Because me, I would want to say yes, but no, they're 2 totally different things that I see. Hold on. Right. Marla with the cord. Remember I told you that she was going to get so irritated because she spent all this time laying the cord out flat. Yes. And then it's like a big pile again. Mm-hmm. We don't like cords, energetic ones or physical ones over here at Intuition. That's why we cut cords. But we can't cut these or nobody can hear us. Okay, is Reiki light the same as the Holy Spirit? Okay, who am I talking to? Allah, that's kind of scary. No, it's A-L-A, like A-La, like Ah-La. Oh, it's a harmonic frequency. Allah, Ama, Aka, Aba, Ah. Ah is A is in the middle. Oh, okay, hold on. Got it. The tone of ah, A, which sounds as A, H, 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 A, H, ah, is that which is the frequency that lies deep within the recesses of your light body. At the epicenter of truth, at the epicenter of knowledge, at the epicenter of strength, harmony, wisdom, peace, joy. Ah is what lies within inside of each of you. So as you place your hand upon the center of your chest now, think, ah. As you sigh out this tone, you will bring yourself into resonance with your Holy Spirit, with the you that is you, with the you that is self-sustaining, with the you that will never die. This is the you that exists prior to that which is your divine spark. This is the you that is the light that existed so much so and spun so fast that pieces broke off, then turned around and said, ah, I am the light. I am aware of this now. I will take this within me, within this bubble of awareness, and I shall spark a divine spark. And that divine spark will travel down into creation. And that creation is that which I think upon, that I think up. For if you want to look at life now, you will see that none of us has ever gone anywhere. We are still we are still that light. We are still that Holy Spirit. But when you call it a Holy Spirit, what it becomes is a creation of a creation of a creation of a creation of a creation. For that word in of itself was a creation of man. And anything that is created by man, for man, within the creational realms, exists as a field of energy, a torsion field of energy, which looks like a tornado. And as the light is shined through this tornado, it then becomes into what you would call a torus or a field, or what this channel calls a snow globe. So the Holy Spirit is a creation, and the Holy Spirit is what each individual thinks it is. But it is that divine light. Reiki is also a creation. We can talk about what Reiki is, whereby the Holy Spirit is within the second density, or the second, upper second, lower third chakra as a soul level. And Reiki is at the top third, lower fourth. This does not make one better or worse. It just is. But Reiki is the breath that you breathe. Reiki is the prana. Reiki is the life force energy that charges the divine spark, the awareness, and what you are calling the Holy Spirit in its acceleration through time. So life force energy would be like gasoline. The Holy Spirit would be like the driver. The soul, the car. And although none of you truly know this or will even believe it, but you have never left the soul plane. Your physical body is a manifestation within your soul's mind. You just think you have a body. You're all living within a reality that you have created. And that is why it is so exciting indeed to bring yourself and your awareness into the and pull forth that energy. So if your eyes are not closed, imagine what looks like in the center of your heart. Just imagine it. Is it a bubble of light? What does A look like? What does A look like? Does it look like an A? Does it look like light? Is it in you? Is it above you? Is it around you? What we'd like for you to do now is to allow us to bring into you the original energy that was, the original thought that was, prior to awareness. And as this is brought into you with no name, with no face, with no purpose really other than it just is, as we drop this energy unto each of you now, say, I am open to feeling the original energy that sparked my awareness and sparked my divine light. Please allow this energy into my field now so that I may experience it. And as you allow this in, we'll drop into each field and open you up to this energy now, allowing it to flow throughout your field, all around you, through your body, up and down, all around. This energy will feel different to everyone. It is a feeling of emptiness and fullness all at once. And as this energy passes through you, if you feel anxiety, it's just the frequency of that uprooting things that cause you anxiety, but you don't know they're there because you have masks, you have shields, you have defense mechanisms, you have people that you project upon and you blame it on. When you become the original creator that is, there is nobody other than you. You are the universe. You are God. So if you feel something, rather than feeling angry and accusing your spouse of being angry, you feel it. So what we bring upon to each of you now is a grounding, a clearing. And we pass each and every one of you, including this channel, through the void of consciousness, bringing about an evolution and a raise in perspective to each individual, upgrading each individual's perspective in each density, each dimension, each layer of the reality in which their represents itself. For you are one stream of light passing through a kaleidoscope, and each one of those little mirrors or little blocks of light are a different representation, a different lifetime. But as this kaleidoscope spins, and as you become aware that you are just that awareness, you may ride your light stream up and out of you into its original point of creation. So in your mind now say, I am now the original point of creation. Show me what this feels like. I'm the original point of creation. Now say, I am that which created that. And as you feel yourself drawn into something that is undefinable, just allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to know that in the palm of your hand, you have a universe. Say, I am that which created the original point of creation. Please show me where and your name is within inside of me. And just allow your attention to go to the space where you are. And then say, where is my husband or wife or child? Or where is Russia? Where's the United States? You'll begin to see that everything is inside of you, and that is why what we will learn this evening will change your life in the sense that you truly are the creator of everything. And as soon as you can begin to bring your awareness into this creation self, your life will change and it will never go back to the way it was before. Because you are in control of your reality. You are in control of your destiny. And we love you. Ooh. That was interesting. So was Reiki the same as the Holy Spirit? Did they even answer? They did answer? Okay, I'll have to go back and listen. If there's anybody who's willing to like listen to these classes and just write down like times where maybe like I channeled or something like that, and then like if you're good at like video editing, I will supply you with like the high definition videos link, and because we don't share that on Patreon because it's so big. I will supply you with the video link, and you know, you can have it for free, or obviously for free, because we're going to start selling them, and then you can just clip it out, like anything that you thought was cool, like a channeling moment or something like that. You're not late, Rochelle. Don't worry. I'm the one that screwed up or something. I don't know what happened, but it was all meant to be because Angela got her healing on YouTube Live, and Kiki is a winner. She's here. Phil Moria. Oh, thank you for that. Let me write that down really quick. Find my journal. Woo! That was actually an interesting channeling in that I don't feel all like whacked out. It was almost like it's almost like that's the space I need to channel from rather than going into our group consciousness. I don't remember what I said, but I feel better than I usually do when I'm channeling, and I'm not all like, woo! Oh, that's interesting. The soul is the car? No, the soul would be more like the, oh, and anyways, okay. So this is me fighting with my own head and the guides. It's funny. Yeah, Amy, anyone who has I mean, most of you guys on here are $100 members, because let me just tell you real quick, the reason why I created that was because I started Patreon off as $1, and I was just all my old meditations that had like Poochie snoring and barking and people coughing and whatever, because I had a Google Drive and my students would listen to them, but not everybody could access that. So I put them on Patreon because it was free, and I made it $1. And then I started putting like stuff that I sell on there. So I said, oh, I'll make a $10 thing. And then I made the $25 one and added in like contests and started putting all of my radio shows and my paid classes on there. And then I did the $100 one because people were paying $25 plus $120 a month to come to classes, sometimes $150 if there was 5 Wednesdays. And that's just too much money to be spending on like spiritual stuff in addition to like, you know, everything. And everyone was like, I want to come to all your classes and I want to buy all your meditations. So I just did the $100 membership. And so you come to class for $1, and then I clear your house and I clear you get a healing. All the $100 people do. But a lot of the times people like fall asleep. And so the $25 members had access to class before, but I thought that's not fair. People paying $25 can just access class afterwards. And I'm getting pulled all over creation as people are doing the healings, because I'm leaving them open so that, you know, like I'd be in the middle of making food for Madison and I'd be like, I'm in someone's house clearing them right now. And it got exhausting. So I made a $55 membership, and I only allow 40 people. And the $55 people get access to the classes, but you can send healing@discoverintuition.com when you're about to do the healing, and then I do your healing while you're doing the meditation. So you still get to experience class, but it's only $55 a month. So then you get, you know, you don't have to come live. You can listen after. You still get the healing. But the $100 people, it's the best deal because, you know, you get everything and stuff like that. So just in case there's anyone that's not a patron on here, instead of spending $30 a month, you know, and to get a house clearing 15, so it's 45, ends up being like $180 and it's only 100. And plus you get like access to 200 meditations that are on here. So anyways, that's Patreon. I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything, just letting you know it's available. I didn't realize how many people didn't know it was available until today when I was talking to a bunch of people. Laura, oh. Yeah, Amy, and I just found out today on Patreon that you can download all of the meditations onto your phone and in the app, and you can just go into audio downloads. And I have like 200 meditations there. I usually scroll through when I go to bed at night, I listen to them. I scroll through and I look for, because I don't want to go into Zoom and listen from there, and I don't want to be on my big old computer. So I just wear headphones and I go on my app and I scroll through the posts and try and find one. And then I usually get sucked in like by someone's question, like, oh, I'll just answer that real quick. And then I'm up to like 3 a.m. So now that I have the app where I can just hit download, 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 I have like 200 meditations on my phone now. And if you have an Android, you can actually save them onto like your downloads or your music file. It doesn't have to be in the app. And then if you have an RSS like podcast thing, then they go in there too. So it's actually a really cool app. I was going to dump it and move it over and create an app. I'm still going to create the app, but I'm going to keep Patreon because it's actually pretty awesome. So anyways, let's begin with a real quick grounding. Someone's stomach feels funny. Shelly, your stomach feels funny still? If there's anybody here who's here for the first time, just say hi so I can see your name and I can be aware of you. And anyone that I've never like met, can you just say hi? Like, hello, I want to say hi to everyone. I just saw that they're creations of man, but they're creations of man. It's like, it's what they're saying is like, it's like this. Like imagine this. And this is like a flashlight. They said, imagine like this flashlight, like shining down and it being like light. They said the light does not become anything until we witness it. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the double slit experiment. Who here has not heard of the double slit experiment in quantum physics? Hi, Cherise, nice to meet you. Hi. Ken, have I met you before? I see you right here, right front and center. Hey, how's it going? I like your headphones, they match your shirt. It's all color coordinated. Carrie, have I met you? You're right next to, it's like the little Brady Bunch boxes right here. I never really look at the boxes because then I get distracted by people's energy in there, but I have them up tonight, so I was like, oh, I might as well say hi. Welcome, Ken. Your energy is very, you have, what's his name? Sananda, S-A-N-A-N-D-A, Sananda sticking out of your head. And he's like right in the middle, so I'm like, what up, Sananda? Sananda, I believe, is like a 7th dimensional version of like Jesus or something. Jesus would be like a 5D like soul, like a ascended soul that's been Christed, that's like won the game, that made it all the way to level 7. Sananda, I believe, is like an ascended master and is, I don't know much about Sananda, but he's here tonight and it leads down to you. And then there's one other person that has Sananda sticking out of their head. Where is it? Let me find you. Gabriella, Pamela, and Linda, and Melissa, and Annie. Oops, what did I just do?
That wasn't you, that's Margie.
Oh, okay.
Margie needs to stop screen sharing.
Oh man, Margie, you don't have your porn up? Kidding. There we go. Is that better? Did I pin the video up?
Nope.
Oh no.
All right, let's see.
That's funny. Sananda was like, yeah, because it's funny. I was about to say there's a very fake Sananda. So one thing with discernment, guys, it's very, very important is when you are communicating with guides or angels or teachers, you want to make sure that you go into a space within you that is neutral, which is your heart center, which is your I am. And you want to get into a space that doesn't care whether they're a demon or an angel or a guide or a figment of your imagination. I found myself very, very depressed lately when I'm with this new healer that I've been working with, and she'll say, call the guide in closer and look to see who they are. And I'll just go right through them and there'll be nothing. And I'm like, oh man, they were a figment of my imagination. So I got all depressed and I was like, I've been imagining everything this whole time. And it was funny because I could hear all of my real guides. This is when I was sick. So I was like at a low vibration for a long time because I was so tired. And it was funny because the guides were up there with like little puppet things, you know, hanging down like little like puppets of them down into our reality. So picture like this bubble, you know, and then picture like us hanging down little versions of us like down into like this reality. So we're like, oh, look. Uh-oh. Computer's kind of going nuts, huh? Someone's, what's going on here?
I got it.
Okay, it's all good. So anyway, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you you pull them into your heart. So I want you guys to do this real quick, okay? Because there's so much fake stuff going on these days that a lot of people are like, I'm seeing so much, and it's like sad because I have to be like, that's your imagination, but it is attached to something that is real. So you need to follow that imagination thought up. So this is what I want you to do. This is what the guides wanted me to share with you tonight. Okay, the first thing is I want you to actually imagine that your feet are like on the ground, and I want you to have them like sink into the ground. Imagine that they're sinking into the ground. And then I want you to imagine that you have like little like clamps at the bottom of your feet that go like donk, that like kind of clamp you into the ground. And as you imagine those kind of clamping into the ground, just kind of imagine as if you were taking like sand in your hands and going like, you know, like pulling up the sand and kind of feeling it in your hands. Just kind of imagine that that's going on in your feet. And all of the nutrients from the earth and from beautiful Mother Earth is kind of like soaking up into your legs, up through all of your muscles and bones, your knees. And just kind of imagine all of that energy and all of those nutrients and all that beauty. And I'm going to remove any implants from anyone that has any blocks from being grounded. There's a few people. Got one in your left knee. So I don't know if Naomi's on here, but I think it was Naomi. No, not Naomi. Sonia. Sonia was you. I feel like a Naomi. But you can always ask, you can say, do I have an implant keeping me from being grounded? And if you get a yes, just say, I am my I am, and I command that that implant be removed now. Thank you. And it'll go, whoop, it'll go away. Continue to pull the grounding energy up all the way through your legs. And I want you to ask in your mind, like play make believe, in your mind say, if I was to see grounding energy, what would it look like? What would it make my legs look like if I was to imagine it? And you can just kind of get like an imaginary vision of what grounding looks like. Me, I feel like my legs are turning into sand. Other people, it looks like you have silver light. Others have blue. Others have beautiful like roots growing out of their feet and they're pulling up like light through their legs. Others look dark. Everyone's different. So you're going to learn to communicate with your subconscious mind. And even if you're just imagining things, sometimes at least you're creating like a like sign language almost with your higher self. Okay, keep pulling all the energy up all the way through your legs, all the way up through your root. And then I'm going to bring in your highest source or creator self from directly above you. And I'm going to pull it down into everybody's head really quick so we can make sure everyone's attuned, because there's like maybe 10 people here that are not attuned. There we go. So just kind of imagine this big, like the way that a flashlight would have like a beam of light coming out of it, how it has like a fan of light coming out of it. Just imagine like someone up there with a flashlight, dropping it down directly over your head, and that light is coming closer and closer. And as that light hits you, you just kind of dematerialize. There we go. Perfect. And as that light hits the grounding stays, because the grounding is the earth. It's like, you know, keeping you down there in the earth. But it's gonna, the light that's coming down over you from your highest source creator self is dissolving away anyone else's energy that is not you, anyone else's drama, anyone else's anxiety, their depression, their fears, or even their projections and their reflections of you. We all, as healers, every single person here is a healer, get projected on like no one else's business. People accuse us of being them all the time because we're mirrors for them. We have come to this world to be a mirror, and it's no fun sometimes. But we don't dwell on it because we're not victims. Well, at least not all the time. Or martyrs. That's my thing. So here we go. There we go. Perfect. So just imagine that hand with like that flashlight coming down, shining all around you, dematerializing you. But then we're going to continue to pull the grounding all the way up through until it ends. And there'll be a point where the grounding stops in your physical body where you can't pull it up any higher. And I'm curious to see where you guys see that end. If you want to write, in my navel or my heart or, wherever, just write down where you kind of see that you can't pull like that grounding energy up to anymore. Throat, okay. Solar plexus, nice. My mouse working. Solar plexus, perfect. Let's see. Crown, okay. Shoulders, nice. Ribs, solar plexus. I don't know why they're asking this, so I'm going to ask why. Navel, chest. Mine actually stopped right here. Hi, Terry. Nice to meet you. Oh, wait. Terry? We've never met. Oh, Rochelle. Oh, Rochelle has the name Terry. Got it. I stopped right here for some reason. But then I just said, I am now Marissa. So now I want you guys to say, I am now, and then your name. And only, and then your name. And I want you to do kind of just like a real quick version of the feet clamping in and pulling up the grounding and see if it's the same spot. Now mine's up to here. That was interesting. So what they're doing is they're actually, wow, that's really cool teaching. I need to get sick and relax more often, huh? Yeah. So what they're actually teaching us is that when that hand comes down, that is the hand of God. And they said they actually talk about it in a verse in the Bible about the finger of God, like flicking a demon or something. I don't know. I keep hearing that. I don't know the Bible at all. Maybe one of you Bible buffs know it. It's something about the finger of God will wipe out all darkness or something. Now your throat, third eye, crown, higher. Yes, it goes higher now. So you're stopped at the navel. Michelle, did you go down or up? Higher, yes. So, so Michelle, you went down? Okay. So, oh, Michelle went higher. Okay, crown. Okay, so here's the thing. I have a friend, and I'm not going to name who she is, but she has so much anger in her life that she actually, and she's a healer, she actually uses her son's field to like do readings, and she didn't realize it. So she would go into her son, who's like a rainbow child, who's like fully connected, into his field, and he was having all these problems and all of these issues, and like he was like hating her, and they were fighting. And when she came to see me, or I finally did a session for her because she's my friend, I was just like, oh, let's do a session. I was like, holy moly, you're not in your energy field. You're in his energy field, but he's the one that's super psychic. He's the one that's got all the abilities. And so she was ending up in his body because they were arguing. She was worrying about him. So she ended up in his field. So if you changed from one to another, it just means that you may have been in somebody else's field. So I'm asking whose field I was in. Oh, that's interesting. I was in my website guy that I met with earlier field. Very interesting. So we can still ground. No, I'm not talking about you, Michelle. We can still ground you guys if we're not in our body. Isn't that interesting? Like, I didn't realize that. I thought that if we grounded, it pulled us into our body. That's really interesting. Wow. I just need to make a note of that so I don't forget to do my meditation on that later, because that's like beyond important. Because what if we are meditating and what if we have these amazing abilities that we don't know about, but we're in our website, guys, energy field, you know, and it doesn't really matter. Like me, like I was just channeling because I said, I am my I am. Or the thing, like I brought my awareness up into that. But when we're actually in this life, living this life, you know, we're somebody else. And it's not that we're even necessarily, oh, that's right. Yes. I told him that I thought that he was a very like overweight, heavy, fat guy. And he says, you're not the first person that said that to me. I've had so many people say, you're not so-and-so when they meet him, that they always picture some very overweight guy. And we realized that he had like a fat spirit living in his field, like someone else's soul was in his field that was very overweight. And that's very common actually for people. And from the time it went into his field, he says that's when he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So unless he eats like paleo perfectly, he basically gets very, 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 very sick. And so I was trying to remove the spirit today when he left, and that was before class. So I didn't pull myself completely out of his field. So what the guides are saying is it's very important to command that you're in your body when you're doing your meditations, when you're doing your development, because you may be in someone else's, and therefore you're going to start to get like, one, if you're in someone else's field, the way that the guides teach is like, so like, I don't like people that are like me. So if I am in someone else's field, I'm now them, I'm not going to like them and they're not going to like me. Does that make sense? So couples that fight a lot, you want to make sure you're in your own field. You want to say like, I am now and your name, and I am your name only, and actually feel yourself, pull yourself into right here. So what they're saying is that where you can pull that grounding up to is where your human being is. So our human being goes up to about right here. And then the crown of your human being would be probably like right about here. And if you are like flipped upside down, like how I've been talking about like the cocoon and the butterfly, if you're flipped upside down, your crown is going to be down there. So the guy must be flipped upside down because his crown was down there, you know? So anyways, that's so even if you don't understand what I mean by the upside down and the right side up thing, just say I am, and then your name, I'm only your name. And then imagine your feet clamping down, pulling up the earth energy into you. And then just imagine or ask that the hand of God come down with the original light that is you, shine it down over you. And then just imagine everything dissolving. And the only thing that you're going to be able to sense or feel or experience as like density is going to be what you perceive to be your physical body. Interesting. Very interesting. Wow, you're in a lawyer. Well, see, the thing is the zero, Gina, should we do the zero? The zero is then you'd be doing the zero for them. So you want to make sure that you're in your own body first. See, that's why the guides wanted me to name my book, I Am Marissa, but Hay House doesn't like it because, and I kept telling him, no, it's not about me. It's about stating like, I am Marissa, and then doing my spiritual practice. But they said it sounded like an autobiography, so they poo-pooed it. They also poo-pooed I Am My I Am because they said that people won't know that it's about them. They'll think that it's about me. So we'll see. Let's see. So does anybody, let's see. So we should say I am. I would, don't say 0 point, say 0. Say 0, 0 ground, 0 source. 0 point is like the center of the video game. So the 0 point is a created thing in the matrix of like source as we know it in Earth. So the 0 point's in here. But 0 is making yourself 0 degrees. 0 ground, 0 source. So you're not like tipped. I'll incorporate that into the meditation tonight. How's that sound? Okay, so 0 is not home base. Actually, okay, so home base, you guys, actually this is good also for the new people too. We have something called a thought spot. Let me draw it. Our thought spot is where we live our life from. And I actually fixed the whiteboard, guys. I got a clamp so it doesn't, I want you right now to ask, just close your eyes and say, I am, your name, show me where my thought spot is. And allow your attention and awareness to go there. This is probably the single most important teaching I could ever teach you. And it changed my life when I realized that when the guides taught us about it. Because depending on where you are living your life from is how you're going to perceive something. If you're perceiving something from, say, the heart area, if say your thought spot is like right here, you are still you. You still have a root chakra, a second chakra, a third, a fourth, fifth, seventh chakra. You still have all your chakras because you're a hologram. And a hologram is the whole. It means you are whole wherever you go. So you're right here. But if you are perceiving life from here rather than here, like if you're down here, you're going to be very defensive. You're going to be more like ego driven and stuff like that. So you're going to try and become spiritual and you'll be all up in your crown chakra and you'll be like, I'm ascended, I'm enlightened. And that right there is proof that you're in a lower chakra. People that are like, I'm so enlightened. It's like, really? So why do you have to say it? But your thought spot is your soul level. Okay. So I am now Marissa and only Marissa. And you know, Gina, maybe throw in, I am Marissa and I'm only Marissa's physical body. Yeah, the physical body is what I need to do because I end up out here because I channel. And some people are channels here, so you may end up not inside your physical body. So I am Marissa's physical body and only Marissa's physical body. Boom, you end up like right here. And then say, show me where my thought spot is. And then I want you to say, show me where my God spot is. And it's kind of a play on the words. Actually, they don't mean what they mean. So don't let your mind get involved. Just write down where you were in your thought spot and where you were in your God spot and write it down on here so I can see. So you can write chakra level, or you can write like the number, or you can write where. So thought spot, God spot. And find my markers. Third eye, God spot, heart, thought spot, forehead. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. I love you guys. You guys are all so good. You guys are good. So the reason why I do kind of like the guides teachings is because they use these words that aren't the same as other ones. So you can't really get your mind involved. So your thought spot, I'm sorry, your God spot is comprised of, so this can literally help you manifest like whatever you're trying to manifest in this world. Your God spot is wherever you are placing your focus on. So let's say you're trying to manifest $1 million. And you ask, where's my thought spot? And one, you're not in your body. Or two, you're down in your lower chakras where literally, if you have $1 more than your overhead and your God spot is down here in the root, you are filthy rich, okay? Because all you need is a place to live and, you know, security. So if you have your thought spot down here and you're praying for money, you're going to get exactly what your overhead is. So if you can think about your bank account right now and you think about how much money you're comfortable with, you usually have a number. And if you just say, I'm comfortable with this amount of money, I always have this much money in my bank account. And then if you say like, I now have $3,000 more than I'm comfortable with in my bank account, you'll like get nervous and you'll be like, oh crap, I'll give it all away to my person that I enable, or I'll give it all away to my sister or my brother, or I'll lose it, or I'll spend it on gambling, or I'll go get, I'll go out, I'll cheat on my husband or wife or whatever. So there's like a space where we're uncomfortable. And that's because we're operating down here in the lower chakra levels. And it's because of the media and what's it called? Like there's like the Me Too movement right now, which is great and everything, but it pulls everyone down here because it takes us into what was, and then a group consciousness of, yeah, we're all banding together, but it's like group consciousness down here. So that's your God spot is down there. And your God spot is your divine spark. It's your divine spark, and then it is, oh, there we go. I call it the mini I am. So it's like it's your game character that you create when you come into this life. So you create like a game character and you send it down to live inside a human. And hopefully you guys can see that because let me turn the light on overhead. Yeah, these lights aren't working for some reason. Ah, there we go. There we go. So your mini I am is what your God self creates that, and it puts its brain, so your God self is up here, which is what we're connecting with tonight. Your God self's mind is sent as a ball of consciousness into your heart, okay? So your mind is actually in your heart, okay? And that's why your human self was like right there. That makes sense. So that's kind of like your avatar self, and then your human is inside of that, and your heart is your God self's brain, okay? So that right there is your thought spot, and your divine spark is actually source. That's right there in your brain. So wherever you think of, that's where you kind of go, or wherever you're experiencing life from. And that's influenced by, your wife yells at you, so you drop down. Your kid, throws up all over you, so you get irritated, so you drop. So our God spot moves around all over the place. So if you're like irritated one day and you're like, oh my God, I'm so irritated, you can literally like stop. I say, stop, drop, and listen. So you're going to just be like, okay, I'm super irritated. I'm super annoyed. I need to just stop right now really quick and just say, I am, and call yourself back into yourself. So I am Marissa and only Marissa. Physical body. I'm going to say physical body. I pull myself back in and I'm just going to say, come back. Call all of me back. And then I'm going to say, show me where my God spot is now. And right now it's right here. But likely if somebody just cut me off on the freeway and somebody's chasing me down, I had this lady chase me down on the freeway the other night and was like screaming at me that I was drunk. And then Jeff heard her screaming at me because I pulled over to let her come by. And he came out and said, what the heck? She goes, you're drunk too. She was hammered. But she was like, it was on Memorial Day. She was projecting, but both of us had our God spots way down low right there. We were like adrenaline pumping, all pissed. But down here, like, we're just like, roar. We were so upset. We were like, oh, we're gonna go get that lady. And all meanwhile, Jeff's holding Madison like in his arms and Poochie in the other hand. And we were like, and we had been fighting too. So that like unified us and got us like not fighting anymore, because then we had a new enemy to conquer. So when you're down in, if you look at it like a 12-story building, or I'm sorry, a 7-story building, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then your creator's like a sun up there, okay? So that's like 8, okay? So when you get super pissed off and you go down and your thought spot's down there, it's very easy to end up down here. That's where adrenaline is. It's where fear. It's like that. You know, when you get that like racing heart, the clenched throat thing that a lot of people get is right here. The throat clench. This is like the heart when your chest gets all clenched. That's from adrenaline. The throat clench is from your adrenals. I'm sorry, not your adrenals. Your what is that goes off in the thyroid? Whatever that the gland is for that. This is also if you're ungrounded, if you're not staying grounded in your physical body and you go out into the astral plane, which is all out here. This is where you find the demons. This is where you find the entities and fairies and gnomes, but not the good ones. I mean, you find the good ones and the bad ones. And then, these are going to be like fake spirits. The fake spirit realm, it's going to be like people's emotional bodies. That a lot of mediums, if the mediums do not pull themselves up, they could be communicating with dad's fragmented, pissed off self. I always tell my mediums when I train them that if you see a dad going, rah, 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 like over and over, like, you know, like it's playing over and over and over and over, like it's not dad's soul from the soul plane. Dad's soul from the soul plane can be communicated with from up here. That is likely a fragmented piece of dad from when he lived. He got pissed off, so pissed off, he threw a bottle on the ground and a little piece of him broke off. So if we're down here reading energy for somebody else or ourselves, we're only going to be communicating with that stuff. So if you're like, oh, wow, it looks like your dad was very angry. They're like, yeah, he was when he was younger. Yeah, it looks like he's still really angry. It's like, no, dad's not still angry. You're talking to a freaking like hologram. And a lot of mediums don't realize that, which like, I just get all like, but down here is like the demons. So if you're seeing stuff with like the red eyes and like freaky stuff, just know that they're not anything other than like thought creations that you have within your mind. So you can just say, I am my I am, and I command that my God spot be merged with my thought spot, okay? Your thought spot is where your soul resides within you, okay? So most people's souls are anywhere between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th chakra. And that does not mean that you're a lower or higher level soul. It just means that your God self that is ascended has chosen to place its, like someone said, home base on a certain level. So it doesn't want to remember, like somebody said when they became their higher self, there were more souls or more lives than they could ever possibly imagine. It's because our divine mind then remembers all of the lives that we've created, you know, as we get up higher and higher and higher in this. And so if you were to take this, guys, and twist it, what's it look like? DNA. So it's that, this is basically our DNA. And our awareness is basically moving up through it. And most people call from here up junk DNA. But what it is, it's the records of all of who we are and what we are. It's really interesting. So all the stuff I do on you guys in this class is actually called DNA activation, but I call it higher self attunements, activations. So you're just going up to higher aspects of self and taking on more information and allowing your brain to access it. Close your eyes and ask, say, where is the genius? Where is my genius? Your genius is your soul group. We share a soul group with Einstein, so we have no excuses if we fail any tests. We do, we really do. Everybody in here, we're all part of the same soul group. We're part of the soul group that I call Michael. And I call Abraham. So the Abraham soul group is here on earth to wake people up. So we have the awful job of dealing with groggy, tired people going, I swear to God, I'm freaking awake. Ah, you know, like people that are tired are annoying because they try to pretend like they're awake. If they're like, I always say like, we're dealing with a world full of like my husband swearing that he's awake when we're watching Game of Thrones. I'm like, you're not awake. And he's like, yes, I am. I'm awake. I'm like, no, you're not. Wake up. You know, or in the morning when I'm trying to pretend like I'm awake and I'm not. So that spiritually, we're waking people up by just planting seeds. And so we're all part of the same soul group. And our soul group up here, we have our ascended self is like a lot of the Bible characters, but it's also, what's that guy's name? I don't know how to spell it. Thoth is Abraham. So whatever that means. I never knew that. They just said that. Oh, interesting. I'll have to look that up later. I think he's the guy that made the pyramids, right? I don't know. Anyways. So what you guys do when you notice that you're like, roar, like all like irritated, say, show me where my thought spot is, or my God spot is, and allow your attention to be drawn there after you pull yourself in your body, and then just say, I am my I am, and I now command that my thought spot and my God spot merge, and just imagine them boink, merging together, and you will immediately cut resonance to the stupid bitch that chased me down on the freeway and screamed at me. The thing is that you have to actually remember to do this. Because you get all like aggro and you're like, rah! But every time anybody ever did that to you comes back, your brain starts running with all these memories, you get all like amped up, and then you start talking about it with someone else. But it's good with like couple fights. Jeff and I have what we call the ego card, where like if we know, here's ego right here. Ego. Ego's the third level. And it's also our mental body. And this is where all the fake guides are. Like where like people say like, oh, I think that I have a fake guide. It's probably the real guide shining into your field, but by the time it's passed through all this, your ego's turned it into something else. Like, you know, if you have Jesus, your ego may say, you're not cool enough to have Jesus, or don't say it's Jesus. People are going to think it's fake, or blah, blah, blah. Just those thoughts will distort the light that's coming in. So that's why tonight when we learn how to cut from, what we're going to do is I'm going to take you guys up to here. You're going to end up here in your creator self. And we're going to delete from your DNA any, like right here would be like your ascended, I'm sorry. Up here is like your ascended masters and stuff like that. So this is kind of like the little, like, and this is like the astral plane. So like, you know, the Godhead, Zeus, Poseidon, Gaia, the Cleopatra, all of the characters that are on Earth are in this level right here. So if you, as consciousness, this guy up here that went in here, and you're this bubble moving up and down, up and down, up and down, depending on what mood you're in. All the meanwhile, while your thought spot like sits somewhere stationary, it's like a little like fishing line. You're just kind of going up and down. If you vowed eternity to Zeus, or you vowed eternity to whatever gods we were in other lifetimes, when you try to become this and call upon Creator to manifest that new job for you, you could very well be getting sucked into this level right here and just tuning into like a microscopic version of this building. See how it kind of works, how it's like we're a hologram, so we're like those Russian dolls that are embedded in each other. So no matter where we go, our entire self is going to be there. But if you're going to be like erasing the past, or wanting to see your future, or do readings, or heal a disease, Lyme's disease, or, you know, this guy's Crohn's disease, the only reason why we were able to see that big fat dude was because if I was to tune into his energy as a normal medium, today, the web guy, I would have been like, oh, okay, I would have gone in right where he's at the second, because I was down there. I wouldn't have seen the big fat dude that was right here. Oh, this is where earthbound spirits are. Earthbound. And then this right here would kind of be like your in-between world. They call it like the hospital world or the university world. It's the soul plane and stuff like that. And then when you get up here, this is like the kind of like the God realms or the creator realms. Creator gods, which all of you are. All of you are a creator God. We're all the same one. And that's who I call Michael. Michael means like God. If you look up the definition for it, which I found interesting. And that's who I channel as Michael. So he's like our creator God. And then up here is just a whole bunch of, this is the angelic. And also it's like a programming, like matrix. So you'll hear people say like, oh, the 144,000 harmonics, or they talk about the rays or your archetype or whatever, that's all right here. And then the seventh up here is the I am light. This is just the light. Or this is the witness. Witness, and then here's your I am. I am my I am. It's up here. Okay, so that's kind of like, and they all coincide with the chakras. Okay, they all coincide with the chakras. But when you're in a chakra, you also have all your chakras, because remember, you're whole. So that whole thing is moving around. So you'll hear me say things like, oh, that person's root chakra, but they're existing in their solar plexus. So their focus on life is all about me, 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 me. I. They're very like confident in their own right, but they're very like abrasive and like, you know, you see a lot of like the intellectual spirituals that are like into energy medicine. I'm not knocking energy medicine. I love it. I've got tons of friends that are super into it. But a lot of the times when they don't focus on the heart-centered stuff, they're just going into the energy, going into the astral plane, wherever they are, and they're not rising up into their soul's heart, connecting with their I am, and like pulling themselves up out of this reality into their creator self. So your creator self is actually right back here, like right here, behind that, just kind of standing behind there. So that is who you become when you become the diamond. Remember, I've been attuning everybody to say your diamond self. The diamond is right back there, and it's created this. So if you created all of this and you can become that self back there, then you can go into any time, any date, any year, any place. You can become anyone. I always recommend when people are fighting with another person to do the whole I am my I am, and I am pure awareness. And then you just become awareness, which is beyond that creator self. You're just the camera floating around. And then just say, I am pure awareness, and I am, and whoever you're fighting with, show me what they feel like. And you'll be like, oh my God, no wonder they're acting like that. And you'll actually have compassion for them, because you'll actually get to feel what they feel like. And it's not to be like, oh, poor them. They're still an ass or a bitch or whatever they're being, you know, but you can actually kind of see from their perspective why they're thinking or being the way they are. And then you just, I usually just say 0, and I'll pull myself back in to my body just to make sure I'm like not in their field anymore. But what happens is you don't become their field. You actually become kind of like a hologram of them. It's not actually going into their body. So anyways, so that's kind of like a rundown on what I wanted to teach you guys tonight. The thought spot and the God spot are very important, because you can snap yourself out like that, like boom. I want you guys to, we're going to do the meditation, but if you don't know how to muscle test, I just want to teach you guys really, really quick the arm's length test so you can use it this week. If you don't know how to muscle test, or if this is a repeat of what I've taught you already, just bear with me. It won't take long. I want you guys to, okay, so standing here, like, or sitting, either way. And if you're dehydrated and you get yes both times, it's because you're just dehydrated. So if you reach your arms out, your arms are gonna be about the same length. They're gonna, see my big fat stubby thumbs are the same length, okay? So my arms are the same length. So now I'm gonna say yes, yes, yes. They're the same length. And I say, no, no, no. See, they're different, okay? So it's reflexology, and our body retracts, kind of like retracts when we say something that is negative or untrue, because our body is electrical and it knows truth. That's why lie detectors work and all that stuff. But you can take it to a new level, and you can say, and I didn't teach this last time, you can say, so you can go in like, I'm now Marissa and only Marissa. I'm gonna pull myself into my solar plexus. I say, this is my routine. I am Marissa and I love me. And I go boom, right in here. And then I call in my higher self, and my higher self sends down a bubble to come get me. And then I get pulled up all the way up to the top of my head. And then from the top of my head, I kind of like merge with my higher self. And then I say, I am my I am, and I am in my heart. So then I say, I am my I am, I'm my heart. Then I become my I am, and then my bubble drops into my heart. So I'm connecting with that creator self that's back there. Because it's all about commanding where you're going to be, what your brain is going to read. And it wasn't like this before March. So that's why I was saying on the video earlier, all the teachings that we learned before, they're like, okay, but they're kind of not anymore. Everything's so different because the planet shifted, and we are all of this. Prior to the planet shifting, this is us. And we had right here in the astral plane, we had like a light that was our spirit that was kind of guiding us. And then God was outside of us. But now with the planet shifting, we can be all of that, but people are still that. And it's up to us, even just by leading an example, to say, to even just live a different way. And as we're living up here in these, people are just getting into resonance with that. They just automatically go there. You know, you don't have to preach, you don't have to teach, you don't have to do anything. They just automatically start rising up. Okay. So I am Marissa and I love me. Calling in my higher self to come get me. I just imagine being pulled up. And once I'm up above my head, I say, I am my I am, and I am in my heart. Okay. So now I'm in my heart space. So I'm going to say, yes, no. You can say, I am Marissa. No, I am Marissa's higher self. Yes. So if you get into your higher self's consciousness, you're going to get a lot more answers. Like, okay, I've had more than 15 past lives. No. More than 3. Yes. More than 10. Yes. More than 12. No. So you can start asking all those questions that you ask psychics and mediums and stuff. And usually the psychic mediums are just giving you information on their own field, because, you know, that's not, if you say, what's my grandma's name, you know, and they keep seeing a grandma jumping up and down over here, you're going to know that it's their grandma because you know what your grandma looks like. But if you see like a stagecoach and a fight and a sword and a knight and that over there, you don't know whether it's yours or theirs unless you ask, you know. So getting into your higher self and muscle testing as your higher self is awesome. And you can also, from your higher self, you can become your master guide. So you can say, I am I am, and I'm in my heart, and then just feel yourself in there, and then just say, I am now my master guide. Show me what it feels like. I want you guys to do that. I am now my master guide. Show me what that feels like. Feels pretty cool, huh? Let's see. Can there be more than one of me on? Absolutely, yeah. The top says, I am my I am, and Toth. I'll take a picture of it. I won't erase it. I won't erase it. I promise I'll take a picture of it and send it over. So I know it was a lot of kind of like heady information, but the guide said that tonight, the group that we have is a group that you guys are all like trying to figure out your life purpose. And this isn't about like, oh, join the cult. You know, it's about giving you guys the tools that you need to create, you know, your own awesome life, you know, and as you're creating this awesome life and you're living this life, the people that you know around you are like, wow, that's pretty cool that they're like happy now. They're not miserable anymore, you know? And then it's like the 100th monkey. You know, when I shared this in Reiki a while back, and if you may know what the 100th monkey is, the 100th monkey is basically they taught a bunch of monkeys on an island to do something. And the old monkeys were like, I don't want to wash off my potatoes and eat them. I'm just going to eat them with sand all over them. And the baby monkeys like learned how to do it. And then after the 100th monkey learned how to do what the scientists taught him how to do, every single monkey, even the old dudes, started rinsing their potatoes and eating them the way that they were taught. But what was more fascinating was that across the ocean, that same type of monkey immediately started doing what they were taught, because 100 monkeys started doing it over here. So it proves group consciousness. And the double slit experiment that I was talking about earlier, guys, is basically, and you can look it up on YouTube, basically states that because we are photons, because we're light and we are matter, that living in a quantum reality, basically the quantum science states that we are not anything until we think we are that. So like that old saying, like, you know, if no one's there to hear the tree fall in the woods, is the tree really there? Quantum physics says, no, it's not there. And if we're not somewhere, it's not there. So our entire reality is right here, what we're perceiving. So if we can shift the way our thought spot or our God spot to a different level of consciousness, where we know more or we've experienced more, so our brain has more to pull from without even consciously realizing it, then we're going to perceive life differently. I use my first teacher as an example, and then we'll do the meditation. We went into the cell phone store, and I was so embarrassed because he was like this big hot shot, like in the spiritual world. But then when I went out into like reality with him, I was kind of embarrassed because he was like this like hillbilly guy that smoked cigarettes and drove a Harley and lived in like an apartment in Escondido and was like kind of like ghetto and like uneducated. But like in like his classes, he was like, wow, he was like this like amazing, powerful, like medium guy. And we were at the cell phone store, and he just totally thought the cell phone people were trying to rip him off. And he was so pissed off about a charge on his cell phone. And I was like, after he like flipped out on them, thought they were all ripping him off, he was going to threaten to cancel his phone bill. I'm thinking like, they could give a shit if you cancel your phone, you know? But he was just like irate over it. And it was literally a charge for, what's it called? For data, because he didn't have data. So I was texting him. So I texted him, and he had never received texts before. So he was getting a data charge at the time, but he didn't know what data was. So he was just livid, and he thought they were out to get him and he was going to cancel. So had he understood a little bit more about cell phones and charges and data plans and stuff, he would have walked in there and been like, you know what? I had no idea that I didn't have data. My new assistant, you know, she's been texting me, and, you know, can I switch my plan? You know, so you think about like, the more we know, the more like reasonable and rational we are. And if you think about fights that we get in with people, it's usually because we don't know, but then we're too embarrassed to admit that we're being a dumb shit. So our ego steps in. Well, it's because you didn't tell me this or that, you know, but you can, if you can honestly look at your life and look at, you know, times where if you had known, you probably wouldn't have been pissed, then you can look at that thought spot, God spot exercise as just that, because you're going to take your conscious awareness up into a piece of you that does know, that's in the future, that's already lived it. And then you don't have to live in so much fear or worry, you know? So, yeah, there can be more than one of you. We have lots of us. Energies of cities. There are certain cities that have, yeah, absolutely. Hey, who here is from Chicago? That's so funny. It's so funny because I heard, hell yeah, Chicago's the best. I better represent. Nobody better talk shit because it's Chicago. Chicago's proud, and you know, the group consciousness of Texas, because it's the biggest state, they're like so proud. You know, we are, let me ask, we are the state that we live in our second density, fourth chakra. So in 2-4, we are our city. Oh, wow. That makes a huge difference. Figure, you know, like if there's a lot going on in your city, you could be drawn down into that. And that takes you into a lower state of consciousness of fear and stuff like that. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. Interesting. Thank you for asking that. BGK consciousness is pissed off right now. Vegas Golden Knights. So all you have to do is just rise up above it. Yeah, your team and all that stuff that you're all for, that is a level 2. And all of you like Mercury retrograde and all that, you need to ask, where in me is Mercury retrograde? And you'll find that Mercury retrograde is a second density thing. It's down in the lower. So if you're above it, you won't be affected by Mercury retrograde. Your astrology sign is about right here. So as you become your higher self and you start to see that you're being triggered because your God spot is down low, because you're like, oh man, it's Mercury retrograde, everything's going to go nuts. You get pulled down there, but down there is also what the entities and all that stuff. So not only are you dealing with Mercury retrograde, it's not because of Mercury retrograde, it's because that's where that is. And that's where all your garbage is. That's where all your inner children are, where all your mental fragments are, where all of your old fights with your ex-boyfriend and girlfriend and all your trauma is. So that's why you become a different person on that level. So that's why you can just say, you know, basically do the thing, call yourself into yourself, show me where my thought spot is, God spot is, and then I am my I am, and I now command that my God spot be merged with my thought spot. Whoop. And then pull them together, and it will break the resonance right there. It's pretty awesome, actually. It's probably the coolest teaching that my guides have taught me, because I get all like irritated all the time because we're empaths. That's what happens. That's cool if you love astrology and all that. No. Don't, it doesn't lower your vibe. No. It brings you into your human consciousness. So what we're talking about tonight is going into our higher self and becoming our God self, because we're in a class where we're learning to release all of the Godheads, the creator gods. We're releasing the story, we're releasing all the stuff that's kind of holding us in. But like me, I'm the year of the snake. So the year of the snake is going to be a certain way. But if I'm my higher self, I'm not going to have all the same qualities as what my human self has. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Good question. I love that. Where's the best place to be? Let's ask. Oh, that's that's an answer that I was not expecting. This is, of course, gotta love him, El Moria. This is your fault, Suzanne. He says, ah, yes. And he throws a rose at himself. El Moria comes in about the 3rd, 4th level. He's clearly still got an ego. He's like a Saint Germain's soul or something like that. He's from the same one, and Peter too. He says, ah, yes, of course you let me in. You let me in indeed. He says, what you must understand is there's no better place than where you are right now. What you must understand is the best mind to be plugged into is that which is your whole self. So what we'd like for you to do is to ask, show me my whole self. Show me my real self. Show me my God self. You alone, not through these channels definitions of her own self, must figure out at each level what you call that. You may call it your soul. You may call it your spirit. You may call it your God self. You may call it your source self. You may call it your real self. You may call it your Holy Spirit. Your mind is programmed a certain way. But we recommend the whole self. The whole self would be all, everything. But this still places you within reality. So becoming your whole self and then stepping out of reality so you can look from the outside in is what turns you into your compassionate witness. And your compassionate witness is Christ, is the Holy Spirit, is God, whatever you want to call this piece of you that doesn't have judgment. So becoming the compassionate witness in your life and the observer is the best place to be in, but it is not the most experiential, because then you are watching from the outside. And we will walk you through this in the exercise. So what you may do is you may take yourself into your I am, you may become pure awareness and then say, I am my I am, and I now command that I be the self that can best deal with this. And then just trust that you become that. And that is when you begin to time travel without realizing that you're time traveling, because many of you indeed have a higher self that is at least 9 to 27 years in the future. So when you become your higher self, you are you in the future looking back. Think of how much you could accomplish if you were able to look back at yourself when you were a child and tell them to do something different. That is you when you take yourself into your higher self. You may not be consciously aware of all of the thoughts and everything, but it will affect your decision making, and it will help you to discern good from bad, right from wrong. So when you become your compassionate witness and you bring yourself into your heart and a guide comes in upon you, say, reach out and touch my heart. Show me what you feel like. And if they do not feel good, say, leave. Do not come back. If you are very curious, you can say, show me your creator. Show me your creator. Show me your creator. Show me your creator. All the way up until nothing else comes in, because we are all created of the light. We are all created of the light. We'll do this meditation now. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He's doing that. Suzanne, he says, she loves me so much. She loves me. Do you love him? Let's see, kind of like the thought behind the thought behind. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, let me get some music going on. Yeah. So in the other meditations, what we did was we went up the stairs and we went up to the creation station. What we were doing was we were going up that building, and we were going up to above our crown, and then we were going up and out of our reality into this creation station where there was a train. And anyone who hasn't done it, if you go onto Patreon, if you do the $55 pledge, you can listen to all of them. And yeah, all of the classes are there. The meditations are pretty cool. But the creation station, last time we went into the train and we went into the future. We met our future self. We went into the past, and we just went into the future and met our future self. Tonight, rather than having to go anywhere or do anything, I'm teaching you guys how to just command yourself there, because if you can do it that way, it takes less time. Like, say you're like, okay, I'm getting ready to go to work right now and I'm really nervous because I've got this client that's going to be there and I don't know whether I'm going to get it or not. You can basically say, pull yourself into yourself, and then call yourself into your thought spot, merge it with your God spot, your God spot, merge it. I always get those two mixed up. The thought spot and the God spot, merge them together, and make sure you pull yourself up out of anyone else. And then just say, I am now me 30 seconds after the meeting ends. Show me what it feels like. And you'll actually be able to feel what it feels like. You'll be able to see what happened by how you feel or what you're experiencing. I do this a lot with ladies who are trying to get pregnant. I'll say, like, imagine right now that, you're you, and then just say, like, I am now me in 5 months, and do you feel anything there? You know, or if somebody thinks they're going to get a divorce or they're together with someone, I say, imagine them sitting next to you right now. I am now me in 15 months. Are they still there? And that would be based on the train that you're on right now. So if it's something that you don't like, we're creator beings, so we can change it and we can say, okay, well, check it out. You know, they're not there anymore and I want them to be there. So basically, like what I'm teaching you guys tonight is how to heal ourselves now to affect our future. Okay. So I want you guys to write down 3 things that you want answers to, like, you know, am I going to get the job? Am I going to have that kid? Just whatever. Am I going to be that millionaire? Write down 3 things that you want to know the future for. Because I'm going to take you guys and I'm going to let you guys see those futures. And it's really cool, especially since I'm holding space and you take on all my abilities during class. It's like super amplified. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Oh my God, Einstein just discovered something. Oh my God, I just solved everybody's weight issues. Oh, then I'm going to call in. So let me call in just in case this cuts out because of the guides, you know. So I just went to go grab for these guys. And I've been eating good. And I just heard 1-3. And I was like, 1-3, 13? And I was 1-3. And it was like, you eat these when energies 1-1-3 come into your field. And I was like, oh my God. So that means I'm down at 1-3. And it was when I ran out and I ran upstairs, and one of the ladies from upstairs, she deals with a lot of like sexual like abuse girls. She was walking by, and all of a sudden as I'm running into the bathroom, all of a sudden I was like, I need candy, like really bad. So all of a sudden I heard, oh, hello, you spoke of me earlier. It was Einstein. And he's like, yes, you can determine what foods. And it was funny because I see his hair, and all of a sudden I see like a cartoon of him being like, and there's a banana, and there's a this, and there's a that. But you can actually do your muscle testing, and you can determine which level your God spot's at when you want different foods. And you can ask basically to be brought up, and you won't want those foods anymore. So I was like, oh man, those sounded really good for a second. So then I said, okay, well, show me where I am. And of course I was down here, and I said, all right, I am my I am. Show me where my God spot is. And of course I was down there, and I said, I am, I command to be remerged with my thought spot. And I felt myself go do, 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 like and combine right here. And then I was like, And then I was like, my broccoli soup sounds good again. So you guys can try that. You should try that, because we easily just take on stuff. Since a car accident, you gained 20 pounds. Because you dropped to a lower vibration. Yeah, wow. Yeah, and they're saying that empathic people are in the bottom 2. And that's when we take on other people's stuff, we emotionally eat for them too. See, I'm more into like the chakras. I've never thought of it from the thought spot level or the God spot level. This is new to me. So I'm learning something new tonight too, right along with you guys. That's what I love about these classes, because the guides bring in the information that I need to put in my books, usually through these classes. So I'm going to watch it later and be like, yeah, all right. So let's get some music going on here. Let's see here. Yeah, chips. Okay, so salty, creamy, cheesy foods actually ground you. And so if your conscious awareness is kind of like leaving, and you're outside of your little like building, you're going to be feeling the demons and the entities and that's the thing is, look at that thing that I showed you guys, the little spiral, like your little DNA thing, is if you are not grounded, it's like that's a car and you're sticking your head out into a storm, okay? So if you're not grounded in there, you are susceptible to all of the energies around you from everybody around you. So if you happen to be down like in your second level because you're in pain, Margie, and you're not grounded in your physical body because it doesn't feel good. So your I am, when I say when you're not grounded, I used to think it was like your physical body being grounded to the physical earth. That's not it. It's our I am consciousness being in our body, not being in somebody else. Like I was in that IT guy's body. I probably would have, if I didn't pull myself back in, probably would have started to take on his aches, his pains, his stuff. Jeff and I always mirror each other. Like his wrist is all jacked up on this side, mine is this side. And now I'm realizing it's probably because I'm in his field or he's in mine. So we're taking on each other's stuff. I think that's so interesting. Amazing. I love it. I love learning new stuff. Hold on, let me find the music for us. If anybody has like any like questions, like super, you have weight issues, Angela. Angela, you're the one that I asked did the healing for today. I saw that. No, I'm going to call in. You're only getting part of what I'm saying? Is everybody else not hearing me? I wasn't going to call in because you guys said this sounded better, but I can.
Everything sounds fine.
Okay, so it's just Leslie's internet is jacked up. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, everyone said this sounded better. Leslie, why don't you call in? Because it may be your internet. You need off sleep meds? Sleep meds are usually required because we are plugged into too many people. So I will unplug everybody tonight along with, oh, the thing I wanted you to muscle test was my creator is a Godhead. So do like, you know, say, I am my I am, and I am in my heart, or pull yourself into your physical body. Sorry to make it so many steps, but you know, I guess it is what it is. I am Marissa's physical body and only physical body. And then just kind of feel yourself pull into yourself. And then I ask my higher self to take me up. And then I am my I am, and I am now in my heart. And then just kind of imagine that you're there. I can never imagine that I'm actually in there. I just kind of imagine my eyes from here are like looking, like my attention goes there, but I can never actually imagine that I'm there. My mom can actually feel herself there. I can't, but I am my I am, and I am now in my heart. And then say, show me yes, show me no, or if you like the pendulum more than the pendulum, you can do that. And then once you kind of have like your yes, no, like my name is Marissa, my name is Jeff, no. My name is Marissa, my name is Poochie, no. Okay, good. I've got my yes, no down. And the teacher that taught this to me literally pulled me up in front of the entire like stadium of people and yanked my arms down because I kept going, that's not real. You're like, you know, you're doing that on purpose. And he says, okay. So he brings me up and he yanks my arms down as hard as I possibly could and like put them there. And it actually like, I was like, no way, this is real. It's so crazy. It's called the arm's length test. You can actually look it up online. I co-taught a couple classes with the guy that writes about it. He's a Hay House author. I taught with him a few years ago.